Right, so welcome to TimeTech, and today in this video, let's do unboxing and the first impressions of the Galaxy S24 FE. I'm sorry for the lack of quality because, just a moment, I have brought a little something over to compare with, and that is my Galaxy S24 Ultra. So without further ado, let's get into the unboxing. Now this phone has been activated, set it up. I just happened to box it up and make it look as new as possible, so that's that. At the bottom is just my IMEI, and obviously we've got the standard stuff from Samsung. Upon unboxing the phone, you realize that the back of this S24 is completely different to the back of the rest of the S24s. Have a look at that. So we are going to be comparing the S24s like this. Alright, now let's move the phone to the side and take a look at the contents of the box. In typical Samsung fashion, you get the Type-C to C cable, you get your quick start guide and your SIM tray. That's that. And now for the phone. Let's move it. And here's the part that you guys are waiting for. Beautiful. Now looking at the phone and looking at the front of it, this is a 6.7 inch OLED display. It doesn't look too different from the other S24s, but we'll get into this later because it is indeed a different display. It is a different OLED in fact, in which that will require you all to power on and show you all what I mean. I'll see you all when it powers on. Alright, now that the phone has been fully powered on, let's talk about the display. Now, in the first look, you may think that this display is the same kind of display found on the S24 Ultra, maybe in the S24 Plus, let's say that. However, there is a very key difference between the two displays. Now let me show you what I mean. If you were to look at them, they don't look too different, right? Until you tilt it. You notice the rainbowing on the 24 FE? Well, if I were to put this aside and tilt my 24 Ultra, do you notice that? Now that is the difference between a soft OLED, or rather a flexible OLED, and a hard OLED. What does this mean? This means that the soft OLED phones are able to achieve thin, even bezels compared to hard OLED phones. If you do want to have a even bezel hard OLED device, your bezels would have to be thicker, and that's that. And then let's take a look at the footprints of both the phones. So this is the S24 FE, and this is the S24 Ultra. You notice that the FE is one chunky phone. Hot damn, it's the same footprint as my S24 Ultra. I can't. Take a look at this. Oh my god. But the thing is, the FE is lighter. Now, the other part of cost cutting for the 24 FE, let's get straight back into our usual topic, is the fact that if you noticed, the back panel is not matte on the 24 FE, rather compared to the rest of the 24 series, which in this case is the 24 Ultra. So that's one part of the cost cutting that this phone has. And then obviously the phone is built with an aluminum frame that is built similarly to the S24 Plus, and obviously they have an extra microphone right here on the 24 FE. And if I were to stand this phone, looks like it's a phone that is able to stand up to itself. Cool stuff. Now on the top of the phone, you notice that the microphones are located at the camera sides, just like the normal S24s. And obviously the SIM tray is at the top. Rather, it was at the bottom for the other 24 series, right here for the Ultra. Usually you'll see that right over here on the normal 24s. And of course, the Ultra being an Ultra has the stylus silo. Yeah, but overall they are pretty similar. You can tell that this is from the same kind of this is from the same family of phones. And then the camera bump, I would say maybe the Ultra has a slightly bigger camera bump, so I guess this is most similar to the S24 Plus. So what that means is that if I would love to modify this phone to have an S24 Plus backplate, it could be done. And yeah, this is the mint variant. Very good, very sharp. And the one thing I love about this phone is that it doesn't have the IMEI on the back glass. And holding it feels extremely premium. I really love the premium look of this phone. Now, when you unlock the phone, you'll notice that, let me do this. This right here, this time around, is an optical in-display scanner. This is one part of the cost cutting of the 24 FE. So that's that. And now, let's bring in another contestant, since my previous secondary phone also has an in-display fingerprint sensor. That is going to be interesting. 3, 2, 1. That's the complaint that I have with the S24 FE, and that is the fact that the optical fingerprint sensor isn't really good, the haptics. Now, as you all have heard from my phone reviews and things like that, I care a lot about my phone's haptics. So if you are gonna type, if you have the S24, the Plus or the Ultra, have a 0620 haptic motor, which is a really big motor, like around here for the Ultra, or maybe around here for the regular S24s. Now, why did I mention this? Because due to cost cutting, Samsung has switched out the 0620 haptic motor found on the standard S24s for a far weaker 0809. Now, this is still an X-axis motor, don't get me wrong, but I have felt eccentric mass rotors tune better than this X-axis motor. The CMF Phone 1's eccentric mass rotor felt stronger than the S24 FE's. And this is an eccentric mass rotor. This is like the worst of the worst motor that you can get on a phone. And it felt precise. Not just that, it also has more strength than the 0809 found on the 24 FE. It's not that the 0809 is a bad motor per se, even though it is like the cheapest X-axis motor that you can get on a phone. It's the fact that I have seen companies with 0809 motors tune better than how Samsung tunes their 0809. The Nothing Phone 2 has the 0809, the Nothing Phone 3 has the 0809, the Nothing Phone 2A has the 0809, and they all felt better than the 0809 S24 FE. Yeah, but alright. I have faced 0 slowdowns using the Exynos 2400E on this one, and battery life so far has been great for maybe a day of usage. It has a 4700 mAh battery, as seen right here, and it has 25 watts fast charging, if you can call that fast. But yeah, it does charge efficiently enough to use out the full 25 watts. I have no idea why my S21 doesn't do that, which is right up here. But yeah, it's that. And also, if you plan to use both, if you plan to use the 24 FE caseless, yeah, these things are gonna rock really heavily. If there are any questions on why I didn't get the 25 FE, is because number one, I can't be bothered with the same phone. Basically, the 25 FE is just a 24 FE with the standard Exynos 2400 that is not downclocked. So you can just say that it's just a S24 with a weaker vibration motor and probably a COF panel. for a phone. But other than that, I really love this phone at the first glance, and the cameras have been good. And the other thing about the camera, the other thing about cost cutting is that when using 4K 60, you cannot change to any other lenses. So it's just the main lens doing the 4K 60. That's that. Alright, I'll write out a review on the 24 FE, I guess. And in the meantime, you expect my Tab S10 FE review. And that's that. Alright, phones side by side. Take a look at the multiple colors of the phones that I use, I guess. And yeah, oh, and 7 years of updates for both these phones, in which they only have 6 more years to go. So after they receive Android 15, there'll be 5 more years. 16, sorry. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed my first impressions of the S24 FE. I really like this device. I feel like it could be lighter, which is what the 25 FE is aiming to solve. But yeah, I can't believe I own 2 phones from the same family, just that one is the cheapest and one is the most expensive one. But that's that. Review coming soon. It's going to be extremely detailed, as I always do, so watch out for that. It's not going to be that soon, but I'll try and make it as detailed as possible, so that's going to take a lot of time, but do watch out for it. I might talk about the S25 FE in that review as well, if the phone comes out while I was editing the script for this phone. And yeah, that's that. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm a proud owner of 2 S24 phones. What a stupid things to say, but yeah, bye.